Talmud is not a legal code, nor is the Mishnah, although it talks a lot about law. Jewish law is known as halakha, which can literally mean the path, the walking, the way. Back in the time of antiquity, the idea, at least from the rabbis or their point of view, is that it's the rabbis who determine the halakha for individuals based on those individuals' particular situations. Codes don't do this, of course. Codes tend to be universal. They give single answers to specific situations. The idea behind the rabbinic formulation of halakha is that a rabbi can consider various kinds of factors in determining the law for individuals. Of course, for many of those individuals, in order to live in a community, those laws are going to be the same. But there are particular situations when people came to rabbis and they asked them for a legal ruling based on their particular situation. And the rabbi gave them a decision, and that decision, again, according to the rabbis, was binding on that individual. This is seen as this is a response. And ultimately, when things become more institutionalized in the Gaonic period, you have the development of an entire genre of literature around this idea, where somebody might write to a rabbi or ask a rabbi a particular question. The rabbi, instead of simply saying yes, no, forbidden, permitted, would write out a whole reasoned document telling them not just the answer, but why it is that he arrived at that answer. This is the responsa literature. Responsa are interesting in that they are binding only on the individual to whom they were addressed. At the same time, though, they serve as a kind of precedent that other later readers and rabbis can turn to and see how things were reasoned out in particular situations. Responsa literature begins in the Gaonic period and it goes right to the present day. They dealt with such things as when electricity was invented. Can one use electricity on the Sabbath? Or when does one observe the Sabbath when one is orbiting the earth in a spacecraft? They've dealt with things such as gay marriage or the ordination of women rabbis. There are a wide variety of responsa, but again, their authority is not automatic. It depends on the communities that accept them. From the responsa developed a different kind of literature, and that's the literature of the codes. So a code is exactly what you might think of it. It's a book of law. The development of codes, which began a little before the 11th century, but became much more common in the 11th, 12th, and then in the 16th century, we have kind of the Great Code, or the code that's still authoritative in most communities, called the Shulchan Aruch, is controversial because it takes rabbinic discretion out of that decision-making process. Today, in America, in a literate society, with the rise of print and internet culture, many people who are looking for Jewish law don't go to the rabbi, but they go to these print or internet resources. And in that way, the rabbi's authority actually declines. Plus, the halakha becomes more rigid, because now those things that are seen in print are seen as binding at everyone, whereas when in the hands of a rabbi, those things become part of the mix in determining a specific legal ruling.